Yo, yo, yo! Merry motherfucking Christmas, everyone. The Santa
Yo, yo, yo.
motherfucking Claus is early.
How we doing? How y'all doing? How's everybody, man? It's
And
been a
we have
while.
Reza on board because
Yeah.
Reza gonna be cooking big time, big meals. He gonna be cooking big meals.
I got some things for y'all, some food for thought, as you like to call it.
The food for
Some
thought.
food for
We
thought.
like
Yes,
that.
sir.
So, guys, again, join the stream. Don't be cocksucking. Join the stream.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I apologize for my vulgarities. I don't wish to impose them on you individuals who maybe, again, the worst thing you've heard from your mothers is maybe bitch or shit. So I am sorry. But it's fine. Yo, yo, yo,
I think they could take it.
Seraphim, Christine, what's good?
What's good, everybody? So
Let's
how many
gather
people? We got seven
everyone.
now,
Let's
right?
gather
Yeah,
everyone,
let's
and
gather
then we
everyone.
can get into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, so yo, let me give me a sec. I need to turn my joystick off, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, okay, okay. It's good now. Okay, okay, it's good now. Okay, guys, we need more people. Yes, welcome to the stream. Merry Christmas. It's the Christmas spirit. It's the motherfucking Santa Claus. It's me, Rust Santa Claus, with my Christmas tree that I, with my wife, decorated. Okay, just saying, we put in the effort. Although she was really, actually, I should give her credit because I was playing Red Dead Redemption and she's telling me like we should do this shit now. I'm like, it's 11 motherfucking p.m. yo. I ain't feeling it. But then once I started putting the stars on the Christmas tree, I felt
Oh,
rejuvenated.
beautiful. That's just beautiful.
Bro, I know. How about you, Reza? Like, cause you don't do Christmas trees. You guys don't do any of that shit. How do you feel
No, we
about that,
don't.
bro? You missing out?
I'm missing out, like you would imagine. We got our own we got our own holidays, where we give out money instead of gifts, some hard cash. So, we do have our own thing going, but damn, Christmas looking fire.
Bro,
I'm not gonna
bro,
lie, Christmas does
I'm gonna
look
show you
sick.
something later, bro. You're gonna like it.
I
In terms
I
of like
I
decorations and shit, you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. You'll see. But how is it with you guys? Cause I know you guys. There's no like. I know the New Year you guys celebrate completely differently. Like, is it February? Where do you like celebrate it? I'm confused. Like, I used.
Man, fuck. Honestly, I don't even know, but yeah, we celebrate our own because we got a calendar
You have your own.
different
Yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah.
Gregorian. Yeah, yeah, it's
Damn.
different. It's called the Hijri, right?
I
So we
remember.
don't celebrate the Gregorian fucking shit, but we have just different holidays in different times of the year. Like we have two fucking main holidays similar to Christmas. But it's honestly the vibe is so different.
Mm.
What you remember from it is that you wake up early, you go to pray in the mosque, the big mosque with
It's not that.
everybody.
It's not that. Chris fucking Santa Claus everywhere. The
No,
vibes.
no,
Nah, yeah. You missing
no,
out.
it's not like that.
You're
It's
missing
not
out, bro.
cold even.
I'll be honest with you. You're missing out.
But the thing is, you come back home after the prayer and it's cash season. Everybody giving out
And
money.
obviously an SPA gonna be fucking happy with that cash. But
Yeah,
guys,
good
okay,
cash, honest money.
honest money. But guys, we can start getting into the topic at hand, which is
Mm.
it's a heavy topic. It's this transformation. So Reza, obviously this is completely spontaneous. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I don't know how we're doing things. So set up the stage. What you got going for us? At any particular thing?
Yeah, so this stream right here, we're gonna be talking about the transformation of personal experiences of me and Russ right here. So we're talking about all the different stages, the differences of before and after, how we would have been, how you guys maybe could imagine how we were like maybe in in our worst times, and how far we fucking changed the fucking road, and how hard it was, and how long it was, right? So I have a few points, like for example, black and white thinking, right? Rationalizing actions, etc. I have so many points that we can discuss and maybe shed light a bit on some personal struggles,
Okay,
personal,
that's beautiful, man. Good
our
work.
journey to health and shit.
So you want
Yeah.
to start with the black and white thinking?
Yeah, so black and white thinking. Uh, of course, the things that I wrote down are the main things that you could see when a person is unhealthy, basically, in their neurosis. But for us to define this shit before we start going is what is unhealth, basically. What is
That's a good.
what
That's a
is
good
unhealth?
question,
Because
bro. What is it?
yeah, because it looks different from every type. Some types they fall into specific patterns. Sometimes, for example, they could get into depressive patterns. Sometimes get into manic shit, like they start being impulsive and reckless. But for the eight in particular, I would say that the neurosis, the unhealth, how it looks like, is somebody becoming that, like, a few things. I would say conflict seeking, disagreeable, uh, and if I was used to use one word to describe it, I would say antisocial is the best thing that comes to mind. How to describe a person like this. So what do they actually look like, right? There's a
Hmm.
few things. You have something called black and white thinking, where every single thing in your head, every single perspective and concept in life goes through a filter. It goes through a black and white filter of good, bad, strong, weak, just, unjust, unjust.
Everything
It
is
goes
simple in
into,
a sense. Everything is
yeah,
simple.
everything is very fucking simple, and there's absolutely no nuance. Like, this is the type of person, if you go up to him trying to discuss a topic with nuance, you're gonna be like, what the fuck, what a fucking bigot, or like, what a fucking closed-minded individual. They could seem even dumb. The person can look unrealistically fucking closed-minded. That's one aspect of unhealth. Another one is lying. You start lying to yourself a lot. You start lying to yourself and justifying your actions. So if you, for example, hurt someone, you might just lie to yourself and do some mental gymnastics and put it in a way where it's like they deserve it. So you basically live life free of, on the surface, free of guilt.
Guilt.
You
Yeah.
don't really feel you don't really feel guilty, whether it's your family, whether it's your intimate relationship, whether it's strangers. You genuinely do not feel guilty
But
because of
what
the
if someone would tell
rationalization.
you, is it do you have to do this process of guilt removal every time, or this is just an inherent worldview that
No,
then
beautiful.
is allowed
Yeah.
to remove guilt? Like what then?
So this is very nuanced question. Is it that it could be both. It could be a person that goes on with an approach, with a mentality of everything that I do is justified, and so therefore every action is justified. But for me personally, the way it was that I would justify every single action. I have to, because if I couldn't, I couldn't function. Because then I would risk feeling guilty. So I would have to justify every single behavior and every single action.
But is
Personally,
that for
maybe
you that
for Russ, it was
justification
different.
is it's after the act is done, or is it also before the act is done? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, it's always after. That process always comes after for a reason, because the act is impulsive. It's purely impulsive. So you need to justify that act. If you don't justify it, then you're
someone,
gonna
if I
risk
may
feeling
interrupt
guilty.
you, because from time to time
Uh-huh.
we're gonna get a touch base with the chat here, because this is
Mm.
good shit. We're gonna be asking good shit here. But someone says, I remember I knew a potential sexual aid, either that or social aid, who tried to justify his black and white thinking with moral justifications. Shit can get interesting,
Yes.
and this can point towards your point of justifications. But how does that mean that they're using moral justifications? Like, what does that mean, a moral justification, in your
Point
opinion,
out,
Reza?
because this justification is nothing but a moral justification. It is not a pragmatic justification. It is not a justification of, well, 1 plus 1 equals 2. It's not a logical justification. It's moral in its nature, because AIDS, everybody, except for people with maybe deficiencies or whatever. Everybody has a moral fucking compass, and it speaks to them. In the case of eight, when they're unhealthy, they always are in conflict with that, even if they don't like to admit it, which a lot maybe don't. But there's always that moral conflict internally. So you're always going to have to justify shit morally. Like, for example, a justification could be, well, they did this first to me, so that's only right. So they had it coming. They had it coming because they did this. That's the only justifiable way to act, is to punish them or do whatever. But the thing is, this is completely diluted. One thing is to note, very important for you guys, is that most types, when they're unhealthy, they lack something called reality testing, which basically means them being in touch with reality for what it is. So for the eight, they become actually extremely detached from reality. They start deluding themselves with things that may seem absolutely ridiculous to other people. Like, what the fuck you mean he did
Hmm.
something to you? He didn't do nothing. He just looked at you. So the person is, maybe even in a clinical sense, deluded. They're insane. The neurosis is so severe that the person is actually detached from reality. So this justification just goes on morally, and I don't think it goes on in any other fashion. The thing that the person pointed out in the chat is true. It's
Because
all
a
about
human
moral
cannot,
justification. The hate is no different.
a
No, they
humans
can't.
cannot go doing horrific shit and be completely
Yeah,
immoral without being psychopaths. It's just not possible.
exactly,
So there's
exactly. And the hate is
always,
not a psychopath in any sense.
exactly,
Mm.
there's always a moral justification for criminals, gang members. It doesn't matter. There's always some type of code that they operate by, even if this code is very antisocial. Um, Even if this code actually opposes morality that is accepted by society. That could even be that too. So there's all kinds of,
Yes.
yeah, it's very nuanced. I like this black and white thinking in terms of the justifications. What happens though? Someone might ask you, what happens when that justification does the justification work every single time, no matter how weak it is?
That's a very good point, because gauging the justification tells you the health of the fucking person, especially when it comes to the
Right.
hate.
So
If
the
the
more
justification,
outlandish it
yeah,
is, and the more
yes,
proactive in a sense, the more fucking
yeah,
cooked.
they're pretty much psychotic at that point. If the justification is so fucking diluted, so fucking out of common sense, and so out of reality, then you could tell this person needs help. Like, they're basically, they lack, their contact with
So what
reality
what
is
about
not existent.
someone?
They're fucking lost.
What happens when a person, maybe they have a loved one who is like an Enneagram 8, unhealthy, and this Enneagram 8 justifying his actions. He feels entitled to his actions and justified. What happens when they will test this justification? The person will push against this justification and maybe pick it apart to prove the hypocrisy and the bullshit. What happens then? What do you think?
This is the last thing that the A wants to happen, because then they're going to have to face the truth, because deep down they know they're lying to themselves, very obviously. So if the person keeps pushing, they might become very aggressive. They might become reactive as fuck. They might try to shy away from the truth. This type of thing is what Naranjo calls denial. This denial is not just something that happens internally. You can see it in the person, the way that they're denying common sense and rationale, just to not feel
They
guilt
will they will
and other
resort
emotions
to
as well.
any mental tactic
Anything.
to avoid getting in
Yes.
touch with it. Uh, from justifications to
Because if they,
downright, I did it because I fucking wanted to. So now fuck off. Stop fucking annoying me. Like
it could
it
reach that.
can go
Yes.
from all kinds of attempts to this pressure to fight this pressure off, which is funny. Can start with justifications for me many times. Yeah, of course, there's always a way, but when people push hard enough, they keep nitpicking. I'm like, I did it because I fucking can. I did it because I motherfucking can. That's why I fucking did this shit, because that's where they keep pushing this justification. But you know it's full of shit. This justification doesn't hold up. So at the end of the day, you just say you fucking did it because fuck you. That's why you're not
That's the
gonna
truth.
allow for that shit to break down and for you to really see sense in the moment where you're like, oh shit, maybe it was wrong. It's just not gonna happen.
The truth is, when the eight is that unhealthy, they have a certain fragility that they try to protect by any means, and the best thing that they use is denial. If they think an unhealthy eight thinks that if they ever feel guilt, that means they're a weak person,
True,
which translates into
true.
severe irrational fear. It's
Guilt,
not that, oh, look, okay, I'm a weak person. Fuck, it
guilt is
sucks.
often
No.
seen as a mechanism that controls many people, and we see them like crying over spilled milk, in one might say, right? Guilt is seen as fragile. It's a vulnerable state. It's taken over your action that you have committed. If you committed this action, why do you feel guilty over it? Like if you took the steps to commit this action, why would you feel guilt? And would you say it's the same thing for compassion, for sentimentality,
Yes.
for empathy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually written something about the similar to this, is that with this black and white thinking, like I said, since everything becomes filtered through this black and white, emotions as a whole, the whole emotional spectrum is also filtered severely through a black and white. So the unhealthy eight has two sets of emotions. They have the black and white. What is one of them? One of them is strong emotions, anger, rage, even impulsive ideation, like your propensity for impulsivity, egoism, right, narcissism. All these
All
things are
the
grouped into
emotions that
one.
reinforce the self-image and power of the eight
Yes.
core.
And then there's another section. The other group is to do with most of the emotional spectrum. It has to do with even curiosity. It has to do with guilt, empathy, sympathy, curiosity. Um, Even sometimes it depends on the person. Even just feeling neutral could be considered like, what the fuck is this? You know? So even the emotions get filtered severely through this black and white. And the person, the eight thinks if they ever come in contact with these emotions, these quote unquote weak emotions, that they will literally collapse
Yeah,
as
well,
as
it's
as a
a
personality.
when
Their
your
ego
whole
will
identity,
collapse.
your whole identity is built on the notions of aligning yourself with the actions and the feelings and with the ideas of who you are. The
Yeah.
identity is that you are not a fragile individual. It's inherent in you. So the idea to even experience a glimpse of it is unthinkable. It is unthinkable
The
because
what?
you pushed it
Yeah.
away so much. In a way, you're not human. In a way, you kind of push that human experience. It's just not for you. You don't allow this to get to you, even though it does subconsciously. But let's ask Jonke ask a question. How does
Yeah.
Enneagram 8 feel about being made aware of vulnerability, such as being hospitalized? Damn. Damn.
Yes. So
Or getting old
of
enough
course
to
this
feel their once
depends.
strong body weakening from age.
Yeah. It all depends on the health of the person. If you were to ask me, right, if I was to get hospitalized, it would suck. I wouldn't feel good about it, but it wouldn't fucking collapse my fucking
No.
psyche. It,
Because
it wouldn't cause
hospitalization
trauma.
doesn't mean it's the end of whatever, right? It's just an obstacle to
Yeah.
overcome. But the idea that I take your strength away because you're getting old, now that's a scary idea. Now that's the juicy one.
The thing is, with age, I believe that eights mellow the fuck out completely, or at least in a very significant fashion. Partly is because experience the mellowing of experience and shit, but when they get to a certain age, I think that they mellow out. So I don't think that's gonna be a big issue for they when they're older. But I believe that if the person is deep in their fucking neurosis, if they're deep into their disassociation, they're gonna fucking have severe reaction to fucking being hospitalized. They might go into depression. They might go into severe anger issues. They might go into, because you see this in some people, if they get hospitalized, they change, right? If they get, for example, maybe just a leg broken, they gotta sit on a wheelchair for a bit. They're fucking moody. They can't stand anybody. Is why? Is because that really did tap into some weakness that they tried to run away from. The question then is, why does the eight fucking have this phobia from weakness, or quote unquote weakness? Why does it have this phobia? Is it because the person just doesn't want to be weak? It's not like that. It's the reason why the eight it has this irrational phobia is because when they were young, they felt a certain type of trauma, being helpless, being completely helpless and subjugated. When they grow, this trauma was so severe that when they grow up, their psyche deep down believes that if they ever experience that again, it equates
It's
with
over.
death.
Yeah.
It equates with genuine trauma, like something that will cause the individual to change fully. That's why the eight changes from when they're a child to become this black and white, to become this only identify with strong. Because if they ever come in contact with what they think is weakness, the psyche has such an irrational fear. It equates it with almost like death. It's something that the eight tries to run away from all at all costs. It's not something that is just a game or something, it's
Yeah,
just silly or
this
goofy.
has to be really sad. It's important because people think it's. I know Reddit believes this. It's fear of vulnerability. Like everyone has fear of vulnerability.
Everyone
I mean, my wife,
Everybody.
my own wife, has fear of vulnerability. And do you think it's remotely the same thing? No, it isn't. Because the fear of vulnerability of
No.
a normal person, I can still see vulnerability in them, even though they say they hate it, and I can still see vulnerability in many of the actions that they take. Why? Because they're not obsessed. Their personality is not made in a way where it counters vulnerability at every fucking step of the way. Think about this. Why does this eight is this such an aggressive, lustful, exhibitionistic, severe, impulsive character who's tough, is supposed to be violent and shit? Why? Why is it this way? Why is it not sentimental, soft, empathic, compassionate? Why? Because the truth is that is what is seen as vulnerable. So the pathology of anti-vulnerability is so strong and so powerful that the whole personality identifies completely with all the traits that are the opposite of anything that is soft, anything that's vulnerable, anything that is fragile. So you see this over identification in the Enneagram 8. So it's a very different than, I'm on Reddit, I don't like crying, so I have hard time being fucking vulnerable. No, bitch, like that's not how this shit works, you know? Like you were already weeping. You were fucking weeping. Like don't be no. Hell no. So this is important. Some types have an inherent envy. For example, for a feeling of deficiency, it is not the envy that you and someone else might feel. It is a different experience altogether, an inherent experience that defines the person's personality on such a fundamental level. So keep that in mind, guys. But we have some questions, Reza, okay? So let's keep the ball
Yep.
moving. This is a good question. We were talking about uh, the moral justification behind actions, right? Someone asks, are there differences between fighting injustice for the sexual aid and the SPA? For social aid, it's clear and its perceived identity as the hero and the leader. But I am uncertain about the two other subtypes. What do you think about this one?
I need to read this one again so I can fully understand it. Okay. Are there any differences between fighting and justice for just clear procedure? Right. Okay. So this is about the concept of fighting injustice for the three subtypes. Of course, the social aid, like the person said, is very overt in their actions. They want to be the leader, right? The social justice fighter, all this shit is true. For the SP8, they take justice in a very, very egoistic way. If you read about the SBA, you can see that says like sometimes they go about and vengeful behavior and they don't know where it comes from. The SBA mainly focuses on their own sense of, okay, I've been wronged, I have to go do something about it, out of their own personal sense of being wronged. For the section, they don't care about anybody else. Like for example, if they see someone getting transgressed on, they won't go and take it like the social aid. They won't care. For the sexual aid is somewhere in between. The sexual aid cares about their intimate relations.
Yeah.
So they can showcase their justice and the way that they fight against this type of oppression that happens to their intimate relationships more obviously than the SB8. The SB8, of course, does take it into their own hands when it's intimate relations, but the sexual aid is even more overt in doing that. For example, if they value if they, of course, and they value their wife, girlfriend, whatever, and they perceive that at any level that they've been transgressed on, they will go out of their way and enact their idea of justice. But what you have to understand is that for the eights in general,
Yeah. In general, yeah.
the way that they perceive justice and injustice is not because the commonsensical understanding where, oh, I see something wrong, I have to do something about it. Why does the sexualite have such a fucking inherent impulse to fight against injustice with their intimate relations? It's not because they think it's their principles. No, it's because they think that in the psyche that the person that they're close to, when they're infringed on, that means that they're being infringed on themselves. They believe that when their wife gets infringed on some degree, they believe that
But it's
they're
an
the ones getting
infringement on
infringed on.
themselves.
Yes, because the eight views as their wife, the people close to them, as part of their own domain, as part of their own self almost. So if any injustice happens to them, they're the ones that have to do something about it because if I'm a person with a wife who gets, wronged and I don't do nothing, what does that say about me? It's all about the eight when they're unhealthy. That's something that you have to
Yeah,
understand.
it makes
It's all
sense
about the
though.
eight.
Like I feel like many people could relate to this mindset. Like if something is yours in a way, as in yours, like your house, it's like your partner. And I'm not saying your partner like it goes both ways, but this is your intimate lover. This is your best friend. It, of course, if there's no other way around it, it is your fucking problem. It is also your fucking problem because you guys are fucking involved. So it must, the way I see it, yes, of course, like an infringement on a very good friend, it has to be dealt with. Same way with a partner. Now, I think with the sexual I think there is a more propensity towards hating oppressive forces. And with an
Yeah,
SPA, you might not see it as much. I think with the sexual aid,
yeah,
you can see a very strong disdain for control, for structures, institutions, even more than the SPA. So
very
if
good
there's
point.
an oppressive done in that way, but it's not as much about the people maybe as it is about the fact that you have a bunch of cunts trying to control everyone and fucking push their agenda. That's the fucking problem. So yes, justice orientation is present in every single subtype. Same as
Yeah,
loyalty is present in every single subtype. That's important. With the SPA, it's more personal. With the sexual aid, it's more personal also. But with the sexual aid, you're more in between because there can be more caring about oppression of other people. Because again, you can't stand that. You can't stand the idea of being controlled because you've been controlled by everything. And you have
yeah,
seen everyone around you be controlled too. So you can't stand that shit. And that's how it might manifest. So that's I think we concluded that question, I think.
yeah.
Um
It's a very good answer.
so did you guys, this is another question, did you guys as Enneagram A look down on the weaker people? Did you have some sympathy for them, or was it in general discussed? So do you want to answer this, or you want me to answer this first?
Okay, I'll answer it.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Um, when I was completely unhealthy, I had this, and every aid can relate to this. If you see a weakness within you and you hate it so much and you see it in other people, you're gonna attack it. It's a projection. So this idea of the unhealthy eight that's gonna fight for the people and other than the social eight that's gonna actually feel sympathy for weak people, no, because the eight doesn't feel sympathy with themselves. So how are they gonna showcase it to other people? If anything, they attack it the same way they attack it in themselves. The same way that they rip themselves away from all these fucking emotions of weakness, of whatever they deem as weak, they're gonna do the same to other people. And you know the crazy part, for me at least, when I was doing that, I always thought I was helping people. I thought that if I strip away their weaknesses, if I which was very bad, but that just tells you the mentality that you have even for yourself.
Beating the
It,
decapitated motherfuckers, and you're like, bitch, I'm making you strong, so you ain't a fucking pussy. Like, that is funny.
it
It's a
it's
funny
it's
idea. Obviously,
very
it's
fucked.
fucked, but it's
Yeah.
comical, you know.
But if you make them quote unquote stronger, that's you're doing them a favor, same way that you treat yourself as well. So in the end of the day, that's your view on the weak people. Of course, when you're healthy, like I'm much healthier now. Russ is much
Yep,
healthier.
yep,
Of
yep,
course, we
yep.
see a weak person, we're gonna have a natural human response, like most people, everybody almost would have, of maybe trying to help them out, maybe trying to give them advice,
Yeah.
maybe standing up for them as well if they get oppressed. So it depends on the health.
You know, you were talking about. I would say it largely overlaps between us, because what you said perfectly. I think I mentioned that on stream before. How can you have empathy for others if you don't have empathy for yourself? I used to say that so much, and it's a great quote,
Yeah.
because I said the same thing. If you don't tolerate, why do you hate weakness so much in other people? Because you hate it. You don't allow it in yourself. So if you can't even fucking be vulnerable, no one else is gonna be vulnerable around you. That's not gonna be accepted. So for me personally, when I was unhealthy, again, you need to take that into consideration. Unhealthy, um, there was almost an erotic disregard of weak people and almost seeing them as targets. And ironically, it's cooked, but it's the mindset of I will transgress on you however I want, and you won't do anything about it. And you can try to oppose it. Hopefully, it will work. That's the mentality, you know. And if you allow me to do it, you deserve it. Because how can you allow me to transgress on you like that? How the fuck can you allow that? So that's your fault for doing that shit. So there is a strong disdain of weakness, and it needs to be understood that this weakness is not just, it's pathological. So what we mean here is you can be a human, like a normal human, and you can be seen as weak as fuck. Like you can have
Yeah.
empathy for others and like have sentiments, and you will be weak. Like literally. Like how can you feel guilty and shit? Like are you a bitch? You know, like what the fuck? So the disdain for weakness is pathological. It's no one is Superman. So those standards are completely fucking cooked. They are stupid and deluded. So, and now over time, I feel like obviously we don't start. No one starts hating weakness. No one starts being so aggressive towards it. No one. You know, it happens because our experiences are neurosis. But for me, just like him, um, I started becoming more kind and tolerant of people as I started to treat myself better. And what I mean by that is to feel more human, if that makes sense. It's always hard to explain it, but feel more human, feel part of the human experience. I felt like I am now just like other people, and I'm able to do that. So, and with that said, I'm able to express and resonate with people because I've been there, and I feel attached to it. I feel a certain connection to it. So You know, I hate when people get oppressed by those institutions, by bullshit. I don't like that shit. If I see a homeless person, you know, like, and they ask me for food, I'll help them, you know, like, and just small things like that. Like, I'm not like gonna go crazy about. Although there's still limits, you know, we're healthy, much healthier, but there's still a threshold. If I'm not in the best mood, I might not be very tolerant, as tolerant. So I might
Yeah.
be more dismissive. I'm not, you know, there. It's not perfect, but you're not gonna go out of your way to be like, this motherfucker's weak. Let me decapitate him. You know, like, that's not gonna happen. But sometimes maybe some situation makes you fucking kind of like eye roll at someone because you're like, why the fuck are they acting like a fucking baby? Like, dude, get the fuck over yourself, you know. I even had this moment actually with people when like a celebrity died and they liked the celebrity a lot. You know, they were biggest fan of the celebrity, but when they were so bothered by this death that they were emotional and like it hit them so much, you know. And part of me understood it, but the part of me looked down on it. I was thinking, like, dude, you don't even fucking know them. Like, why do you
Yeah.
give a fuck? Like, what is this shit? Seriously? Like, a death of a random motherfucker got you so fucked up, you got decapitated for 2 fucking days?
Mm.
Like, what? So if you're someone you love dies, how would you cope with that? If you can't cope with this, what the fuck? So those things do happen. Those feelings can resurface, but you always have to take, you know, distance yourself and understand, hey, that's my own issue. That's my own issue. You know, that's my bullshit. So that, hopefully that kind of explains everything. Um, let's keep going with the questions. Oh, this is a good question.
Just
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
Go,
Cool.
Reza.
I'm just seeing some people here in the chat are talking about integration and shit.
Yeah. But we're gonna get
Um,
there. We're gonna get there
mm,
because I'm going
all right,
slowly.
all
So
right,
let's answer this question. This is a good question.
all right.
And I think I might have the answer, but we're gonna see. For a growth journey of an Enneagram 8, how to distinguish between real empathy and possessiveness?
It's a very good question.
What do you think about this? Do you have an answer?
Yep. So when it comes to possessiveness and empathy, they can look very fucking similar. Like you actually, like what we just discussed. If your wife, for example, gets wronged, you're gonna do something not out of empathy, but it's mainly out of the possessiveness that you have for her. It's because they're infringing on you. I think that in order to actually change this aspect, is to recognize that the people close to you have their own sovereignty.
They
That's the
have their
first step.
own
The
will
second,
and their own
yes, they
feelings,
have
their
their
own
own will and
desires.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes. And the question of empathy, how does it become natural and how does it become something you can act on is if you start having it for yourself. If you start having the empathy for yourself and you start actually feeling empathetic with the things that happen to you and you start really feeling that, because typical A's, they would be like, man, nobody gives a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. Things that happen to me, I don't cry about it. It doesn't bother me. But if you genuinely start to tap into the empathy that you should have for yourself, then you're going to be able to have it with other people. I think that is the
Mm,
thing, the question of empathy with the eight. If they have it with themselves, they can have it with other people.
that's a good beginning
That's,
too. You have to he- heal yourself, and then you can give it to the
yeah.
world around you, right? But my opinion on
Yes.
this idea is that it's a very slippery slope. Empathy,
Yeah.
possessiveness. I do it because I care. I do it because I love, right? So it's an interesting concept, but the way I would say to differentiate this is that it's about the other person, not about you. So, do they want you to do something about that? Maybe something happened. You ask them, would you want me to, what do you need? It's about the other person, not about yourself. Oh, I need to do something because, you're my wife, of course, you're my girlfriend, of course, whatever, right? I have to. No, but do they want you to? Maybe they want. Maybe they don't want that. Maybe you have to fucking stay silent and can't say shit. Maybe they don't want that. Or, oh, listen, you shouldn't go there. You shouldn't do this because I'm worried about you, and it's not good for you to go out at this time and do those things. I just care about you so much. How is this empathy? Is this protection or is this possession? And the way I would see it is the will of the other takes dominance. So if you want to go out, do you want to, if you feel safe, if you think okay, you should do that. So the fucking will lies in the other. The other person is having the freedom to do as they wish, in a sense. Because okay, they want to do this, they want to go there, they want to do that, they want to wear this. They're allowed to. They can do that. No issue. No one's gonna be anything, because you are disconnected from that fucking possession. So that's how you spot empathy versus possessiveness, because the possessiveness comes from a selfish place. I don't want you to do that because this and that. They might use a justification, but that's bullshit. Real empathy is, do you want to do that? Okay, will that make you happy? Okay, you're gonna be safe. Okay, and it's done out of respect. No issue. No issue. As long as if it makes you happy, no issue. And that is true empathy, to align with the desires of the other person. So it's not easy. It's doable. It's doable. 100% it's doable. I am in this stage actually for a long time now, so I know it's doable. Another question, the one you talked about, Reza. Type 8 growing more mellow with age. Is this relative to the Enneagram type integration or just life experience gained? What you think?
It's a very good question. So when it comes to a lot of people talking about integration with Enneagram theory, guys, my opinion on integration with the Enneagram theory is that an eight doesn't necessarily become a fucking two, but the path of health looks like that of a fucking two, if that makes sense. So when it comes to this, you become like a two. You're not gonna have the fears of a two. You're not gonna have the internal machinations or close to it of the two, right? There's no real connection between the eight and the two or the five, in my opinion. It's just that on the surface, when the eight becomes healthy, they become more feminine, for example. They become softer. They become more interpersonal, more sociable. That what does that look like? That most it looks like a two. So this is my opinion on the theory of integration in the Enneagram. When it comes to the mellowing of age, he says in the question, growing more mellow with age. This is something that I concluded from a lot of shit that in psychology. When reading about the thing that is most similar to the Enneagram 8, it would be antisocial personalities. Um, in psychology, it has been reported that people with such traits get way, way better with age. One of the only conditions that get better with age. And off personal experience and anecdotal and just looking around me at people who are eights and when they get older, is that
Yeah.
yes, they actually
Yeah.
do fucking become mellower. They do become calmer. They do become more wise and slow down. So that's most likely why it happens. It's something observed in psychology, and it's mainly to do with you have to know that the type eight is it has a lot of vitality, has a lot of one of the types that have the most vitality. When you grow older, you lose a little bit of that. So you lose a little bit of that essence, and that causes you to become mellow. That causes you to become calmer and wiser. Other types, like for example, a five, when they go older, they don't necessarily start to lose the vitality because the type five isn't signified by that. So age doesn't really do anything in a big way, same way where it does with the eight. If you go older, if you have less energy, if you have more experiences, if you mellow out, you're gonna stop looking like an eight. You're gonna start looking like another type, maybe a two, maybe a nine. But that on my part, I've just looked into psychology. I think that's where I got the the conclusion of the mellowing of
I
age.
think
And I think you
also
guys can see
the
it.
reason why this happens more so in than many other types is because of the nature of the type and the qualities that are present. Impulsivity, for example. We know impulsivity definitely gets better with age. We know aggression and tendency towards aggressive behavior
Yeah.
also lowers with age. So many of the
Yeah.
attributes of the eight are attributes that tend to get better with age. With certain types, for
Yes.
example, five, do they get better with age? Well, why would they? You know, because not particularly, not as much. Not to say they
Yeah.
won't, but it's not as drastic because
Yeah.
their personality is not rooted in anything that changes so much when they age. But for the eight, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine your testosterone is through the fucking roof. You're 20 years old and you're fucking aggressive, fucking everything that moves, versus you're 50. I mean, it's a whole completely different experience of life. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure that.
This is definitely why the eight is a gut type, because it's very much so related to viscerality, the body, and shit like that. If your body ages, the personality is gonna
The
also
personality will
take a
chill,
hit.
will follow.
Yes,
100%,
will
yeah.
follow. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Um, Socialite is the most overglazed subtype, overtly sanctified, aka saints, aka cosplayers. They are not that cool, and they're not innocent protectors, says Paul.
true, very true.
How does possessiveness of a sexual A differ from that of a sexual one? Big time, big time, huge time. The, the when you look at the possession of the sexual A, it is a neurotic need. So when we say neurotic need, it is all encompassing. It captures every fucking area of the person's life, even if they're not aware of it. They might not be aware of it, but it does. Capturing attention, being in the spotlight, dominating situations, being in the center. All of those things are consequences of the possession, which the sexual one simply does not have. So, when you look at someone possessing another person, the truth is, sexual one is not a character that is really marked by the same possessiveness. Their possessiveness might manifest in a perfecting the other. The other should be a certain way and shouldn't do certain things, but you are trying to make them better, trying to improve them. It's not really about. The truth is, the possession of the Enneagram 8 is vicious, it is brutal, and it can be violent. That is the biggest fucking difference. You know? Like, of course, I'm not saying like, oh, but that's my examples. That's the possession compared, for example, to Enneagram 1. It's not visceral. It's not as dominating. It's not as violent. But for the 8, it can be violent. Basically stripping the rights of another person that and have ownership over them, basically to satisfy your own needs. But it's not about making them perfect. It's not about improving them in a way that they reach an ideal. No, it's not about that. It's about, well, you better not spill them fucking coffee again, cause this you're gonna get bitch slapped so hard you will never recover. That's the type, you know. Obviously, insert Stanley Kowalski fucking bullshit quote to give you guys some reference, but I would say at the caricature neurotic level, that's the difference. There's a certain stinge of selfishness and violence that accompanies the sexual aid. Um, and it's not perfecting. I don't give a fuck. I didn't go around like, oh, I want people to be perfect. I don't give a fuck about perfection. I never did. I think it's a jerk off fucking concept. And for me, it's never been about possessing a person to make them better. It's a simple thing like, they are fucking yours, you're theirs. And this is a fucking. Of course, you want to spend as much time as possible. Of course, they need to fucking rely on you. Of course, there needs to be 100,000,000% dedication and fucking loyalty. That's the number one. It's not about what the fuck, I want them to be a certain way. What the fuck that's gonna do for me? That's not gonna do shit for me, you know? Like, well, if I just can make them a certain way, they can improve their statistics. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. So let's move on. Okay, this is good. I had this social 2 friend who used to berate me all the time and be extremely pushy and annoying. I wonder who an Enneagram 8 would react to that, how an Enneagram 8 would react to that kind of emotional pressure.
Yeah. I believe that a person like that, some person who tries to berate you, they don't do it to people that think that they're gonna not gonna get away with it. With They're not gonna do it to someone who they look at and think, oh shit, it's gonna be a big conflict. They're mainly gonna do it to people who think, they're not gonna give me much fucking grief about this shit. They're not, they're gonna be maybe forgiving a little bit. They're gonna be decent about it, like most people, to be honest. If they look at a person like an 8, they're gonna look at a person like, oh my god, this guy's a fucking mess. He's gonna fucking escalate shit. He's gonna take shit like way further than it should be. This guy's fucking crazy, or whatever, right? So personally, I didn't have much issues with these people or anybody who tries to berate you or treat you in a certain way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I've had issues with other types of people, but not specifically people like this. And I'm sure Russ maybe has a
I
certain experience,
I
a similar one.
it's so funny, but for me, when I was neurotic, I never had anyone do that to me. I was berating everyone, and no one really was berating me. So it's a funny thing. And I mean, it's not that no one tried. People tried. People tried, you know. But after every encounter, nothing happens because you are you feel like fish in the water when it comes to conflict. When you're neurotic, you live and breathe conflict. In fact, you hope this individual is gonna fucking have conflict with you. It's the fucking best time of your life. You feel great. It's great time to be alive. So for me, I mean, fuck, I was starting conflicts. That was always my problem. Every friend group I was in, there was always conflict. I was fucking behind that conflict. So it was very uncommon for me to have someone berate me and do that because they would not get away with it. I would have it would have been a confrontational stance. It's like, okay, you're showing aggressive hostile behavior, we can escalate the situation. um, Especially if I think this person thinks they can get away with it, they think they can do it to me. They think, oh, I'm just, he's not gonna do shit. I can just fucking push him, and I'm gonna do, and I know they're doing it on purpose. So I'm aware that they do it with this idea that they can do it. So then I'm gonna make a point like, okay, so we need to escalate. We need to push it, and to almost irrational degree where it's not even fucking logical. Why would you waste your time with this? Why would you do this shit? It doesn't make sense. But you can't back down. You can't let go. So you just escalate, And I even had this moment with my own friend. Not Reza, but someone else, where I was trying to gauge the person's reaction. Like, are they trying to fuck with me? Like, are they saying what I think they're saying, that what I'm doing to them has no impact on them? So that makes my head go, okay, so I need to break them. I need to break them mentally. That's what the fuck I'm thinking in the moment, which is the most cool shit, right? Think about that shit. You are gonna break your own friend mentally, psychologically. That's how you think. Because the idea is there. And you're thinking, you wanna play that game? You said that didn't hurt you. You said that didn't wound you. I will break you. I'll put you in a fucking mental asylum, and then you will admit you broke me. That's what I want. And then I can let go. And that that went dark. No, but obviously I know better than that, and I actually have fucking self-awareness to realize it's my own bullshit. Hold your horses, guys. Come on. But Yeah, basically, we don't really have people who are extremely pushy and annoying. I don't have anyone who's trying to berate me. I don't have anyone who's trying to be pushy. It wouldn't work because I'm ready to escalate the situation like Reza. And if there's conflict, sure, okay. I mean, what's gonna happen? We're gonna exchange yelling, like we're gonna exchange insults and shit. What are you gonna escalate to physical violence? Oh my god, no, please. Just not that. Oh my god, I'm so scared. No. Like what? You know? What is the best way for an Enneagram 8 to transform into a healthier version? Says Master Procrastinator. This motherfucker should be doing homework and he's here chatting.
Okay. I'll speak of my personal experience because I did somewhat transform, not fully yet, but definitely on my way. About 5 years ago, I was at my worst, 5 or 4 years ago, and I was as fucking neurotic as you can fucking get. Like I was completely polar opposite to what I am right now. And in my certain condition, I had to do several things that I really didn't want to fucking do. I really didn't want to fucking do. One of them was therapy. The other one was to start taking medication. So the medication part was a huge fucking deal for me. I was always fucking not taking it. I was always fucking going against it. I don't need this shit. I don't need fuck medication. What the fuck am I, right? I'm gonna take some fucking meds. And so years went on and behaviors continued. Therapy wasn't enough. I wreaked havoc on my personal relationships, my girlfriend at the time, my very close everything fucking took a hit. I dropped out of college. I wasn't working. It was the worst fucking scenario to be in. And I was very big risk at getting in big trouble constantly. I don't know how I didn't get into trouble. I always say God was watching out because at that time I was completely brainless. So I would say that the thing that really helped me fucking set myself straight was therapy and taking fucking medication that I realized that I have to fucking take. That was for me the fucking hardest decision to ever fucking make. And it's an everyday conflict that to fucking take this shit. Every day I remember, oh shit. I remember when I wasn't fucking taking nothing and how I was going crazy. So personally, that was my fucking my way of changing, you know?
So the medication, but anything else?
Uh personally, man, it was a little bit of therapy, of course, helped, a little bit of self-awareness and shit like that. I think the Enneagram was a huge fucking
Yeah, right. It
significant
was
part of my
huge one. Yeah.
transformation, man. Because reading about all these things and learning and getting a lot of knowledge and shit like that really did help me change and able to actually give advice to other people similar to where I was at a certain point in my life. So Enneagram was huge, therapy was fucking huge, medication was fucking huge. I had specific condition that I had to fucking double down on all fronts to get better because I was going on a very fucking bad road. So that's personally what it was for me.
That's great, by the way. It's requires so much fucking courage to be honest about that, but it's awesome, man. It's awesome, and it's true. Like I've seen you grow. 2 years, 3 years is insane levels of growth on your part. Like I've never. Yeah, again, I don't know any other eight core. Obviously, I'm not really with the eights. I don't know many, but I don't know a single one that changed the way you did. Do the improvement. Like it's crazy. So,
Thank you.
just yeah.
Thank you,
But
man.
for me, it was changes. One thing about change is that it's very slow. Change is very gradual and very slow. And what helped me was, I know, might be stereotypical, but it is true. And I always said this. My wife, actually, I met my wife, and ever since I met my wife, because I had a period where I was in this kind of fucking idea, I don't think I can even love people, you know. I had this kind of fucked up, um, like I'm constantly, you know, operating in relations one way or the other, but they're not, I don't feel anything to those people other than like, oh, I like this girl or I like this person, and you know, we do shit and whatever. But it's not it's not what I would feel when I was young. It's not the same experience of love. So I was like, fuck, man, like I don't think I can love. Like I don't know what the fuck happened to me, but it's such a desensitization happens to you, you know. You don't operate on the principle of love or emotions. You operate on the principle of respect. Do they respect? Okay. Do they obey? Okay. Right? Do they Are you satisfied? Yes. But it's not emotions, it's not feelings, it's not love, it's not. But when I met my wife, I don't know why. I don't know. She was like, "Why me?" But it's like for some reason, it's just I don't know why, but it just happened. I just knew it's different with her, and I was much more eager to try to make it work, and I put my ego aside. I prioritized the relationship over my own ego, which was very difficult because, very difficult because sometimes I would say something to someone, I would react a certain way, bad way, and she would tell me like, you know, that's not okay. It's not good to say those things or react this way, and I would say why not? And then she would explain it's wrong, you know, because you can hurt the person's feeling. And I'm like, one, I don't give a fuck about how they feel. Second, why would I give a shit? Like, why would I give a fuck? There's no good argument. I don't feel guilty. um there's no consequence really, so what, who gives a fuck, right? um but over with time, you override your own morality or lack thereof to a high degree. So, of course, her telling me to be better and improve, me surrounding myself with better people. So I made sure I crafted my environment in a way where it encouraged the best behaviors in me. Because listen, if you put me in a certain specific environment that is maybe toxic or more hostile, I'm gonna be able to thrive in that environment. But that's not gonna mean that I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna be unhealthy because those bad negative attributes will be able to thrive and they'll be rewarded in some type of way. So I try to surround myself with compassionate people, good people, people, just good people, and that helped a fuck ton, you know. And then with time, you create your own morality and certain restrictions on your own. You know, I don't want to say this because it's I don't think it's right. Instead of, hey, I don't think you should say this because it's not good. Yeah, but I don't give a fuck. Stop trying to restrict me. Now it's coming from your own self, but this takes years. It takes years of reframing your worldview, and so much time. But for me, it was obviously my loved one. The right influences help. I think, you know, that's what it is. So, yeah. Okay, enough yapping for that. Would you consider yourself an average or leaning into a healthy 8, and what separates you? For me personally, I would say healthy. I would say 100% healthy. 100%. You know, people might be. I know there are some people who be looking at me like, yeah, but you're still arrogant and you react and you use like vulgar words or whatever. Like you're still not healthy. You're missing the point completely. Like I can 1,000,000% say I'm pretty fucking healthy in terms of an SN8 core. Pretty motherfucking healthy. How I know this? Because I've been unhealthy, and trust me, everybody was getting decapitated. Everybody. So I know how this shit works, you know? And you know you're getting healthy to the point where you're kind of like, am I getting soft? Like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? I feel human. I feel a bit too human for my own liking. That's the. But acceptance comes in. It's fine. There's strength to be found in humanity, right? There's strength to be found in humanity, not coldness. Humanity. What about you, Reza? You think you're a healthy 8 core or you're average, or what you thinking?
I'm definitely fucking healthy, man. If I was to take my own health, and by any measure, man, I am very fucking healthy. You know, I'm not dysfunctional anymore. I'm not causing problems. I'm not. My relationships are intact. You know, I'm working every day. I fucking finished college. So,
But would you
by
say,
by
okay, okay,
fucking
counter
all regards.
argument, but what if I say that's
Mhm.
not really healthy, that's average? Because you're able
Right.
to live in society, but healthy is abandoning some of your neurotic desires and indications and predispositions.
I would say I'm average, leaning on a bit of healthy,
Yeah, right. So
definitely.
you're
So,
touching on the healthy side.
yeah, for sure. I'm not
Okay.
fully healthy, but I'm
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
on that spectrum.
When is the Section 7 interview coming? Very soon. I'm thinking 2-3 days you can expect it because I'm gonna be recording it maybe tomorrow. So stay tuned. Yo, what's Gucci, broski? How are you? Nice Christmas tree. Thank you. Decorated myself with my wife. Reza, what was your typology journey like? Did you self-type as an ISTP or something like that?
First, when it comes to Enneagram, I always typed as 8. When it comes to MBTI, I typed at the beginning as ENTP, then ESTP, then ISTP, then back to ESTP, and then back. So I think my MBTI has been all over the fucking place, but my Enneagram's always been 8. I've typed the sexual 8 at the beginning, but I've been SB8 for a while now. It's very obvious to me now, you know, after I've read and you know, got more into it.
Thanks for the good answer. I'm probably SP6. Is there anything about SP6 that people of type find impressive? Type 8. For me personally, I find they're very, very mindful people. Very mindful, and I can respect their mind personally. For me, it's the ability to think critically, it's the ability to fucking see uh, many shades of gray, you know? Um, to be, for the social 6, to be so fucking logical, to be so intellectualized, for the sexual 6 to possess the strength of physicality while also possessing a great strength of the mind, to combine those two things into one, I think it's impressive as fuck, you know, like to geek the fuck out so badly. I don't know, bro. Like, to me, that's why I find personally, they're not someone who's gonna clown themselves. This is not someone who's gonna be a goofy cunt. This is not someone who's gonna be a dumbass. You know, it's, I don't think you see a 6 core dumbass often. So I can respect that, to be honest with you. What about you, Reza? You like anything or find anything impressive?
Yeah, absolutely. The sixes, man, they're the most one of the most practical, pragmatic, right? Cooperative. They know how to be fucking team players. They know how to achieve the objective. They don't really cause drama, a lot of fucking drama. They put a lot of drama to the side and they focus on what matters. Very fucking cautious when they need to be cautious, which is something that I very much so respect. Yeah, there's a lot of things about the six that are pretty cool. You know, I do respect a lot of these traits. In particular, I think the six and the three and SP3 in some regards share these traits, and I really do respect that.
How would you, Enneagram 8, imagine yourself parenting another Enneagram 8? What would you do different from the usual Enneagram 1 father of the 8? Oh man, so many fucking things. So many things. It's a great question. I like it. What I would, it's a different ball game when you understand the child and you understand what the child doesn't want and what it wants maybe. And of course, you know, at the end of the day, they're gonna do what the fuck they're gonna do. So if they think I'm a dumbass, they might not really listen to me, and they will need to learn by their on their own skin, which I need to allow them. But I would just be upfront with them. You know, for example, let's say my kid fucking hates school. I'm like, listen, I know school's dog shit. I know school is the dumbest place you can be at. I understand. I hate it too. I understand. It's full of fucking dumbasses. It's all bullshit. I get that. But that's the bare fucking minimum. So I understand, saying to you, hey, if you last 12 more fucking years, you can have a good life. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The truth of the matter is you need to have this shit finished to be something more than a bum. So that's the lowest bar possible. You cannot fucking function in this life, at this stage in life, without any sort of fucking education. So at least finish some education. I don't give a fuck what education. And then you can go your merry way and do as you wish. That's how I would approach it. And I wouldn't push shit on the kid as much. I would tell him, I get you. You want to smoke some weed with me? Let's smoke some fucking weed. Like, dude, I'm here for that shit. Now, don't be funny with me. I know you smoking fucking weed, so if I ask you smoking weed, you tell me. Because if you lie, you're gonna wish I was a fucking Enneagram 1. Because this fist is gonna be on your motherfucking face. I'm joking. I'm joking, obviously. No fucking domestic violence. But, yeah, like, I would just, encourage openness in the kid and then try to approach the kid with a sober mind. And understand the kid needs to fucking fail. The more I pressure the child, the worse and more rebellious he'll become. So I get that. What about you, Reza?
I actually would love to have a son that's an 8.
Yeah,
I
of
think I
course you
relate
fucking
to
would.
that.
Nah, man. You fucking need, you know what you need? You need a social 4. I'm not kidding. I
Come
pray
on
to
now.
God. I pray to God you will get like a social 4. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Do you want to know
What?
why? Because I genuinely believe you would grow more from having a fucking social 4 son.
Truth?
100%. Because the social 4 son, all of your values, all the shit you find like important and how you need to be, that would be questioned by his mere existence. And you would need to get around that. So that would teach you to
Fine.
see things differently, to see value in maybe his traits that might initially seem weak or kind of fragile bullshit, but with time you're gonna see the value, like, oh, he still can be a person with dignity and self-respect and be creative and be respectful, be so I wish you, bro, all the best in life, aka the social 4. Man, fuck.
I can see that, but fuck. I mean, I would
But
have
bro, see,
it
but the
would be a
fact you are
bad
so troubled
concoction.
by that, you need it, bro. You need it.
Listen, if I had a fucking 8 son, it would be no point because we would both reinforce each other. But
Exactly.
if I
And
had
that fucking,
like
and
a
he'll be like, oh my god,
opposite,
he's so strong. Wow, he's such an alpha male. Nah, he needs a fucking twink. Reza needs a twink son. And if he gets a twink son, then he will be faced to, like, okay, I can still teach him good values. I can make sure he's a strong person. Because just because he's a fucking gentle soul, maybe he's a poet, don't mean he's not a fucking strong human. So you're gonna be reinforced. You're gonna need to fucking approach it in a way where you're gonna have a lot of respect and maybe find value in those different characteristics, because you still cling to the characteristics of what you think makes people strong. It's still there, So
yeah, that's actually very fucking good point. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
smart.
I'm not saying social 4 like it's an insult. I think any type can be a fucking pathetic weak loser. Any type. It's
Yeah,
what kind of values you enrich them with is what matters, I think. So if I had like a fucking 4-core son, I'd make sure it's someone who I would focus on their creativity. I would make them fucking believe in their abilities, their capabilities. And I would also show them, look, you're different than the people. Like, look, you have unique traits. Like, you stand out. It's good. It's fucking good. And I would teach them, have balls. Just because you're a twink don't mean you don't have balls. So I'll teach them. Stand up for what you believe. Oh, speak the truth. Don't be a fucking snake. And I will teach him that shit. Because social 4 or not, those qualities are human qualities. You can teach them. Any person of any type can have those qualities. So that's the way I think. And I'm saying, you know why I'm saying this? Because I remember, bro, I had the same fucking shit. I was 23 and I had the thought, actually, yeah, I had the thought, like, you know, if I'm gonna have a son, it's not gonna be good for me because he's not gonna have it easy. But then I realized I'm gonna do to him what my dad did to me. So I've been there, you know, like you have a son and you want him to be a certain way, blah 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 blah, some bullshit like that, some fucking bullshit. Now, of course, not like educational shit, but he needs to be strong. He needs to be strong. But what strong is bullshit at the end of the day, anyway. So fuck all that, man.
It's fucking, it's cringe, man.
The
Like
truth is,
once
it's
you fucking
cringe.
grow older and shit, you look at the
It's
fucking
oh my
behaviors.
god, now someone said sexual for son. No. So that's where I draw the
Oh
line.
fuck, no, no, no,
If
no.
you are
That's a
listen,
bit too
listen,
much.
listen. If you are a
Yeah,
resentful
yeah.
little cock, you're cock made. You're made in the cock factory. I will fucking disown you, and the reason why is because no kid of mine would ever be a cock master like that. It's not possible. I do not allow my fucking genes to create a fucking abomination of resentfulness, fucking inferiority, fucking hating other people so you fucking bring them down. That no, I will decapitate inner weakness of this
Fuck,
individual. I
bro.
will turn the sexual
Imagine.
4 into a SP4. I fucking promise you.
What if you had a Mike Tyson for a son? God damn, bro.
I'm
You'd be
getting
scared of
knocked
him.
the
I'd be
fuck
scared
out.
of a motherfucker like
I'm
that.
getting knocked the fuck out. No, but no, guys, but seriously, like, all jokes aside, it's like, yeah, I would not, no, like, I'm serious. Like, if my kid, she, if I'd see, resentful, like, jealous, petty shit, so they bring people down, they hate on people. Oh man, oh man, I would fucking. It's one of the things I have zero tolerance and respect for, and I'd make sure that they learn, because I know there are many emasculated men out there who are this way, and they don't have a father to break them mentally, to fix them. So it's okay, it's okay. I'm gonna turn into a sexual 4 for a day and then fix the issue, you know. But yeah, like no, like I'm not into that. Like, listen, if I'm gonna have a sexual 4 kid, I'm gonna make sure that I remove all the sexual 4 from that kid. I don't fucking know how, but it must be done. What Enneagram?
You gotta remove that hate. That
The
fucking
hate,
hate,
like,
man.
listen, like bro, I'm okay even if you like to cry in the bathroom. You like to weep in your fucking pillow. You like to jerk off to hentai. Like, fucking, you're weird, 100%. But you're busting nuts, so I can respect that. But none of that. To me, there's a line, and once you write hate comments about other people because you're jealous of them, like, if I catch you doing that, it's bad. It's one of the. You just can't tolerate that. It's the next level weak, next level cringe. What Enneagram advice did you guys personally struggle with? Vengeance, cynicism, hedonism. I could count more. Fuck, how many fucking vices are there? I mean, I don't fucking know.
It's a good question, though.
Let me think, bro. Like, not vengeance the most. Hedonism. Nah, I think hedonism would mean like you're fucking like maybe if I'm drug addicted and shit. Like, okay, yeah, but what was my fucking kryptonite? Honestly, my kryptonite was decapitating motherfuckers. So
Bro,
whatever you
rebellion for
have a
you.
name for that, like it's that, like making your
I
life
think
as
that,
bad as possible. So I don't know. It's
bro, I think for you it's definitely that fucking, aggression and shit, but it was big time rebellion too. Like ever since you were very fucking young, bro. And even till this day, you have this very strong aversion to fucking, religions and structures, everything, bro. This is something that's
true,
very true
true,
to
yeah,
your
true.
fucking core till now.
Probably, yeah, yeah. Leaning into antisociality in terms of worldview. That was probably the most
Yeah.
extreme. So I would act and say the most gruesome shit, and
Yeah.
shit on anything that's sacred, and that was the most excessive. So I think, yeah, that's a good point, yo. You reminded me.
Yeah. Sexually coded, man.
What about you?
For me, at my worst, I fucking related to a lot of bad traits. I related to almost everyone he mentioned here. Um, I related to fucking hedonism. When I was very young, I was addicted to drugs and shit like that for a few years until it was very bad. I had psychosis and shit from that shit.
Yeah, man. Fuck.
Vengeance, I fucking went out of my way to right some wrongs. In very stupid fucking fashion, could have got me into a lot of fucking trouble. Cynicism carried all the way because that facilitated a lot of these behaviors. I was very bad with my fucking girlfriend. Sadly, I was just fucked up. Possessiveness for sure. Like I related to very, very all of almost the fucking bad traits of the type when I was unhealthy.
But which one? Of course,
I
you
was
relate to
fucking
all of them.
cooked.
Understandable. But which one do you think
Yeah,
you struggle with the most? Well,
I
what
think
was the
I
predominance?
I think the hedonism and the vengeance were the worst
Hedonism and vengeance. That makes
because the
sense.
hedonism
Yeah.
has fucking harmed me so
Yeah, the
bad, so
drugs,
fucking
the right,
bad,
the
bro.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so bad, bro, with that
Yeah.
type of shit. And the vengeance caused me to fucking be dysfunctional in my life completely.
Yeah, I could see it.
Stopped my
It
fucking
makes perfect sense though.
education. Yeah, I'd say these two for the most part.
Billy Hargrove from Stranger Things is a great example of unhealthy possessive sexual aid. I like that, to be honest, as an example of a very unhealthy possessive, because that's great. There was not as much emotionality, but there was possession. You obey by him, but it wasn't like all about like make him perfect. He didn't give a fuck about that. Just do not disobey him, because again, it's a who is the dominating force here? Who is the dominant one? So well, you're not gonna fucking obey. You make them obey. You break them. That's the mentality. So of course it's fucked beyond belief. Like the thing with the sexually, I genuinely always believed, like as long as you submit, I think it's cool. I think they're chill. I think they can be easy to, not easy, but people can get along with them as long as they play by their game. So for me, when I was neurotic, I like people. I still had people around me, but there was specific people, and they played by my game because they knew they didn't want to piss me off. They didn't want to really cross me or whatever. But there was always this type of mentality. So as long as you kind of, which is fucked because I realized it. I had a lot of yes men, a lot of people pleasers, a lot of people who just will say yes, will say, because I would eliminate anything other than that. If Because anyone I'd have fucking conflict with, I would have conflict with. So all the people who wouldn't fucking abide by it, they would get decapitated. So I would only keep people who would fucking be okay with they have to be okay with what the fuck I do, what the fuck I say, because that's the only way. And if you don't like it, get the fuck out. So yeah, you should interview Theo for SP6. Theo Tube, man. True. True. Why the fuck is he not on my server then, eh? That's my question. You tell him you should interview him, he's now on my server. I take that personally. Someone will die. How does REZA deal deal with the SPH's nature of extracting everything from the world and giving nothing back. Basically, selective generosity.
I didn't have this mentality of just extracting every single thing I can from the world. I never had that mentality. I had desires, strong desires and satisfaction. I wanted this, I wanted that, hedonism and shit like that. But I never necessarily had this Logan Roy type of fucking, I'm gonna fucking suck it dry type of thing and leave nothing. I don't think I had that as much. When it comes to my generosity, I'm very generous with my close circle. I've always been. That's one thing that I even was like, how can I be a fucking SPA if I'm very generous like this? Like it didn't make sense to me. But when the fucking book came out, it literally listed how they could be so. It talked about how it could be so generous with their fucking inner circle. So my generosity, yes, it could be very selective, but I go all the way when it comes to my intimate relations, close relations, and shit like that. You know, that's how it is.
Based. Sometimes I wish I was 8. You don't wish you were 8. Because
No, man,
everyone's.
that's the cringiest shit ever.
Yeah.
Because
Man.
yeah, people, man, like I hope we don't give off any fucking idea in this discussion that the eight is this fucking indomitable, infallible,
Guys,
fucking,
you need to understand
cool
it's a
badass.
cringy person. Like,
It's
once you
one of the
understand,
most
it's
cringy
very
parts.
cringy. And most people still on Reddit, they have this, like, that's the Sigma. But in truth, it's
Yeah,
just someone with toxic masculinity at their neurotic state. Toxic masculinity, like, kind of try hard, reactive because, domination. It's cringe. If you really think about that, it's very corny. So once you understand and break away from the, like, idea that, oh, the true confidence is, that's what those dumbasses, they try to push this agenda. The 8 is stoic and slow moving. It's like, no, the 8 is literally the biggest. You look at them and be like, wow, a wife beater. What a fucking low life. That's
yeah,
literally the example of one of the sexual 8 characters. A wife beater. A violator. So, like, it's cringe. It's cringe, but what people used to do is, oh, he's not 8. Because look at him, he's kind of a tryhard. So he's another type. But the truth is, no, 8s are fucking tryhards.
yeah, yeah. People would say, "Oh, sexual six," because he's fucking, trying to instill his assertiveness and he's reactive. I mean, listen, all of those fucking ideas of this overcompensating, insecure fucking person, that's true eight, true fucking type A. Like even more so than a lot of other types. It's a very when society looks at an unhealthy eight, they look at a very unfortunate, very sad, very fucking riddled with insecurities and shit. That's what truthfully the type looks like an unhealthy.
Truthfully, because when you meet them, yeah, you might believe in their shit. You might believe. When they're neurotic, you might believe, wow, fucking Sigma motherfucker. Every man is getting cocked. Every man is getting cocked. This guy like this chick, guess what? She's no longer his. True story, by the way. So it is true that does happen. That does happen. But that doesn't mean that this person is not fucking unaware of their own overcompensation and fucking bullshit. Even though people might not fucking catch up and see it as much. But it's there.
Yeah,
It's there even if you don't
definitely.
fucking see it. If you know what to look for, you'll know. Just don't fall for this bullshit, you know? Rust, as sexual 8, do you find competition in close relationships attractive and stimulating? If you do, how do you live with it now as a. What you mean, by the way? Because you know what I thought about when you said competition? My first was like, what the fuck? Competition. What does that mean, competition in my close relationship? Like I have a wife and someone's trying to compete for my wife? Like, like what you mean by that? Like competition. Now, if you mean competition, like we're competing, I guess, or something, like I never looked at it like that. Like I guess I just never looked at it this way. Like, yeah, I guess I have some competition, healthy competition with people. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Truth to be told, like in that sense, if you mean competitive in a romantic sense, okay, I could give you some response for that, because I had in my past many situations where there were maybe other male suitors, and there was me. Let's just say your boy just decapitated people, not literally, but I got the job done real good. How does one
Maybe
change
what
the
he
mind?
means,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe what he means is like, for example, you and your wife both work, and there's like healthy competition between both of y'all. Maybe that's what he means.
Um, in that case, if they mean what you mean, um, I I have nothing that's bad. The way I view my wife is as simple as, if she rocks and she decapitates everyone, it's a win for us. It's a W for us. So yeah,
Yeah.
succeed, and I always wish that, like I always wish that. Now, if we compete against one another in some type of way, I think it's fun and games. I think you should be able to do that. You should
Yeah.
you should not be like some people, like afraid of competing eh, in some game and in some whatever the fuck anything really, and then getting wounded because you lost. It's like, what the fuck, it's your own fucking partner. Like, man the fuck up. So yeah, like,
Exactly.
yeah. I think it's fun and games, if you mean that. How does one change the mind of an Enneagram 8, especially when it's about restricting their freedom? This is very good, because um this is very good because that's actually a common. It would be more aligned with my personality. Like, if there's an issue, it's an issue of freedom being restricted. That's the idea.
Yeah. I think
And
you
for
should answer
me,
this for sure.
for me, it's like, how to talk sense to me. Understand that if I might react to you initially, I might react to you in the moment, in a way that's, again, it's not gonna be productive. Meaning, I'm not gonna listen. I'm gonna be like, no, fuck this, whatever. But give it some time. Again, if this person has some fucking health in them at all, they might reconsider. But what helps me is to really just address the problem from a more rational standpoint. If someone tells me, listen, if you keep doing this shit's gonna happen. Like, and you wanna, and you will hate it, because I know you hate this. So it will be even worse for you. So if you just do that, or you avoid this, or you will do that, you will not need to deal with whatever the fuck comes next. In the end, it's gonna be way better for you. So if you present it that way to me personally, I might I might understand it. And it's some other stuff too, like maybe it depends what is freedom. What if my freedom infringes on other people? And in that case, you need to show me what I'm doing that is bad. And the way to do it is, how would you feel if they did this shit to you? That always use this line on the Enneagram 8. Okay, so you doing this to people, whatever, that's fine. You have justifications. Yeah, okay. Other people will now do it to you. What's gonna happen now? How do you react? So the truth is, the 8 doesn't wanna fucking do that. The 8 doesn't wanna. It's okay if they transgress your boundaries, but you cannot transgress their boundaries. It's okay if they fuck with you, but you can't fuck with them. So once you apply the hypocrisy element, and the fucking 8 is gonna see the hypocrisy, he's gonna have an awakening moment, assuming he's not fucking brain dead. That's gonna be helpful. That's gonna wake him up and be like, okay, shit. I don't wanna be a fucking hypocrite. I don't like being a hypocrite. So I'm gonna not commit to this shit or whatever. Do 8s instantly respect strong willed, assertive, or even aggressive people? Do you see them as competition? So for me, it's fucked up, but when I was neurotic, I would like-minded people. So other people who were aggressive and other people who had a similar worldview. Like, if we both were like aggressive, then like weak fucking pricks, then I'm like, yeah, let's fucking, like, we get each other. We get each other, fuck all those other people. But there was another part where there is confrontation or there was bullshit. So it just depends how it goes. Like sometimes if the person was antagonistic, it would be a problem. Or sometimes maybe you have the same values and maybe you find some kind of commodity, certain kind of commonality, so you are able to resonate. So then you're like, yeah, there's a certain brotherly, almost brotherhood-esque energy that can be there because you have two people who kind of think similar and value similar things. But again, if there's a clash, there is gonna be a fucking big clash. So you need to understand if they approach you as competition, if they approach you as in a hostile manner, you're gonna dish it out just same way. Just that's how it goes, you know. Johnny Silverhand. Well, I typed him a sexual 8. What subtypes does actually make a clown of themselves socially? Sexual 7, probably. No offense, Paul, by the way. I also respect for their assertiveness and like rebelliousness and independent nature. Thank you, sir. You're very kind. The Black Stoics and Hiccups father and son relationship. Imagine being an A within a say, oh fuck that. How does unhealthy social man look like in their adult? They don't look like anything. What do you mean? Social for an adult? That's very bold of you to assume they're gonna live that long, but okay, you know. I'm joking, by the way. You know, that's the difference. So as I'm healthy now, I will say this and say I'm joking, but before I'd say this shit to get a reaction, and then if people would start fucking having a reaction, I would double down and say something even. Actually, I would approach it way differently. Now I was actually thinking. You see those things? Did you see how I was thinking about what to say? That's very different. It shows you I'm taking it in consideration. Okay, I'm gonna push the envelope. Okay, but I wanted to say something, but that was too much. That was a bit vicious. So I replaced it with something less severe, because some bullshit, you know. So guys, like this shit happens. Like, you want to say out of pocket shit, like you used to. You wouldn't be thinking about, but now you have thoughts. You're like, okay, that's a bit too much, so I need to change it. And then I just say, I'm joking, you know, fix everything up. It's easy. Self-victimizing promotive male manipulator. Thanks, I was wondering because I'm approaching these years and I was stuck between all. That's probably cynicism. I'm also probably a male. It's tough out there. It's not tough out there. Don't say it's tough out there. It's tough out there for everyone. Literally, it's tough out there for everyone, bro. It's tough out there for everyone, regardless. For which is extreme. Again, I resonate everything except of the externalization of emotions. Instead, there is internalization. Sounds like SP4, by the way, or Social 4. My name is Tio. By the way, Russ, can I also join your PDB team, aka the Russ Nation? Sure, you can, of course. Just make. Can you follow me or something? Are you following me already? Maybe you are following me already. Comment on my page or some bullshit. I don't know. Actually, just like some of my a post or something. Or actually, you know what? Fuck you. Just don't be annoying. Actually, the fact I have to go through so many loopholes right now, for so many fucking obstacles to fucking edge you, pisses me off. Like, damn. My problem is that I often have way too much patience for people who don't deserve it. I tend to justify their wrong and stupid actions instead of being ruthless as I should. You answered your own question. You answered your own question. You have delivered your own problem on your own doorstep. You literally understand everything. You literally gave us the explanation for what you're doing that is bad and your awareness of what you need to do next time not to fall into the same trap. You have the answer. Now, are you able to execute it? And I'm going to tell you something. Executing this is going to feel miserable. You will feel so fucking bad trying to go against this desire of just fucking having patience, and you're gonna feel like a shit person. Maybe you might even feel like a fucking bad person when you do it. But guess what? You need to do it, because the fact you feel those fucking things, it's good. It's a fucking good thing, because you need that shit to grow. So do that. Next time you think to yourself, oh shit, I'm being too patient. Once you have that thought in your head, it's a sign. It's a sign to fucking say, listen, and don't think about consequences. Don't think about fucking anything. Even if it feels like shit, trust me, it will overcome your fucking bad habits. What types are naturally complementary with Enneagram 5? I think sexual 3, specifically Enneagram 3, I think can be very complementary. I know in the book they were used. I think 2 core can be
Yeah.
complementary. I think 4 can be complementary.
Oh, for
9 can be
sure. Yeah.
complementary.
Mm.
Generally, those types of people, I would say. Again, you want someone more adaptable. You don't want
Yeah.
someone being too smart with it. You don't want someone to be like, oh yeah, let's get into the contest of fucking dick measuring. It's not gonna end well. By competition, I mean serious fighting over biodynamics in a relationship. Vibes, verbal. I don't know what it meant, vibes or anything. I never looked at it as, oh, I'm fighting over dominance and power in a proper relationship. I've had fucked on of conflict, of course. I had push and fucking pull. And of course, yes, the drama keeps it alive. The drama makes it go forward. But guess what? It's toxic. It's fucking unhealthy. So yeah, that's how it was in my fucking unhealthy relationships. But that shit was cooked. That shit was fucked. You know? Now, outside of that competition, outside of those scenarios where it's like conflict and shit, there was even straight up power for domination or power for fighting for the power in a relationship, literally. Making it clear that the other person listens to you. They need to understand the message, but because the way they behave, they don't get the message. And you will treat them accordingly as long as they don't understand the message. So there are many things: silent treatment, fucking being cold, being fuck whatever the fuck. You're gonna do those things to establish the fucking power, which is, hey, if you just take a back seat, I wouldn't need to do this shit. I would be nice. Now, of course, I'm talking about an unhealthy manifestation, because that always we are talking about neurotic manifestation. So of course, this type of competition, it worked, but it's a struggle between two people, and you believe that you should be the one on top. So that's kind of literally, also literally, come on, because
Huh.
I'm not on the bottom. Like some guys, the chick riding him, that's gay. That's gay. The fact she riding you like that, the fuck, you on top. Okay, I'm taking a piss. Well, I'm actually, finally enough, that's the beauty about me in a way. I'm taking a piss, but there is also truth to it. You know? It's just exaggerated, obviously, for cinematic effect. A friend of mine who knows a lot about typology knows me personally, types me SO 973 FLVE, which seems to fit now, but I'm not sure anymore. Your friend sounds like a fucking correlationist. So I would already be kind of doubtful of your friend. I'm not saying he's brain dead, no, but he seems to follow blueprint correlation. That's something to think about, because I mean correlations misled me, correlations misled everyone. So yeah. Speaking of PDB, you followed me a few days ago, Rust. Of course I followed you, because you're Sigma. I've seen your content, so you're Sigma. So fuck it, I followed you. You have good stuff. The reality is that all Enneagram 8 can see weaknesses in all other Enneatypes. You would probably change your child. Only a spouse with a different type can change their perception. I like this. I liked your Billy Hargrove post on PDB. Billy Hargrove was like fucking... I posted that shit 2 fucking year ago, man. I'm scared. I'm scared. That's fucking... How do A's deal with knowing deep down they're hypocritical? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, guys, listen. We're doing last batches of questions, so like 2 minutes more, and then we're gonna end it. How do you deal? I said in my interview that when I was so cooked and so fucking unhealthy, the fact that I was so open in many ways to like to the point of people being uncomfortable, I viewed that as the opposite of hypocrisy, because I was able to identify with everything that the human nature is, but humans want to hide in themselves. So we all are thinking something, but nobody wants to say it because it's unethical, maybe, or it's not a good look. So I'll say it because I know everyone's thinking about that shit. Everyone's thinking about that shit. We all know it's true, and no one wants to say it. So I will say it. But that's how I it's hard to see it as hypocrisy when you align in that mindset. And the reason why I'm not going to go around thinking fuck I'm a hypocrite is because you don't allow yourself to even stop and think. When I was neurotic, I didn't stop and think, am I a hypocrite, am I not a hypocrite? No, I didn't have that in me. I believed I'm fucking open with shit. I'm not a hypocrite. But there's no time to stop and think. That's personally my idea when I was neurotic. Now, obviously, to be honest, like, my response to this is everyone's hypocritical. We're human. Everyone's a fucking hypocrite. That's how I try to deal with it. But I try not to live as a hypocrite. When I'm healthy, like, I try to minimize it. If someone sees I'm being hypocritical, I try to address the problem, because I don't like it. But what about you, Reza? What you thinking?
When I was unhealthy, I was completely blind to being
Yeah.
hypocritical. I never believed
Yeah.
I was hypocritical. I thought I was the opposite. But then, with gradually, I even talked to you about it. I'm like, fuck, man, like I'm probably one of the most hypocritical people ever. It was a realization that slowly fucking changed all of that fucking preconceived behavior and hypocrisy that I fucking had. It changed. So it was just slowly through fucking realization. I really didn't believe I had it. I thought I didn't. That's how it was, honestly.
Since you type Johnny as sexual A, do you think V is premeditated to be certain types? What does that mean, V? Some people made arguments for the character being SE based only. What Johnny Silverhand would never be Enneagram 3. But I don't know if you're talking about Johnny because there's nothing 3 core about him. And what is V? V, like, who is V? What is V? I'm confused.
V's the main character, the protagonist, I think.
Oh, you fucking mean V. Fuck. I was so confused.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god. Um um I don't bro, I don't know as much about this, but I don't think it has to be one way. I think it just depends on the path you take and how you respond to situations. I think it can be a different
Yeah.
different type. That's what I think. Do you guys remember some of your situations when defense mechanism of denial kicked in? It's not. It's so common and so often. I can't
Yeah.
even give you a fucking example.
It's true. It's just a
Like,
fucking
I'm not kidding.
mentality.
I'm
It's
not
just
saying this
yeah.
to, like, oh, I'm gonna avoid. No, it's literally that common. Like,
Yeah. It's your personality. You
let
can't
me
get
think.
away
Let me
from
fucking try to think. Yeah, of an isolated example. I mean, I can give you one. Yeah, I mean, I can give you one because it's not that. At the end of the day, to be honest, it's not that hard. Like a big one, for example, experiencing. That's a good one. Okay, I have some. Okay, so I remember when my wife was coming over for 3 months at a time, visiting each other. And then she left. She left. Obviously, that was painful, to spend time with someone you love for 3 months and then for them to just boom. Um, and funnily enough, I did not know that it affected me. Like afterwards, of course, afterwards I was directly after she left, I was emotionally fucking bothered 100%. But once that the next day came, it's a different, it's a different mindset. It's like we're going forward. I'm not gonna be thinking about what the fuck I was feeling. I'm not gonna be thinking about what happened. You know, I'm in this situation now. I'm in this situation, and I need to make the most out of this situation I'm in. So, for the next weeks, I thought I'm good. I thought I'm chilling. I'm okay. I'm okay. You know, but my wife came to me and told me, "Hey, listen, like, you know, are you okay? You seem a bit different. It's a bit different, you know, like you're on edge, a bit more intolerant, a bit more inflexible. Like there's something to it." And I'm like, well, nothing happened, so I don't know. I don't know why anything would happen, because I don't remember anything happening today or yesterday to bother me. And then she's like, "Don't you think that maybe you're bothered because, you know, I left out like weeks ago? Like, don't you think that makes sense?" I'm like, holy shit, that makes sense. Holy fucking shit, that, oh my god. Oh my god, maybe I'm actually so fucking bothered right now, like because of that. Because it had such impact on me. So that's just one of the many ways it can manifest. It's a complete deafness to your own state of suffering and emotion and vulnerability. And sometimes, yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. So if that makes sense, you
I
know,
would
I
say,
genuinely believed I was chilling, I guess. But yeah. What about you?
man, I would talk about something that still is present until this day, denial that is still present. I mean, when I think back about my childhood, you know, if I talk about it with someone, they're gonna be like, "Shit, didn't that bother you? I mean, this
Yeah.
seems huge and
Yeah,
shit."
yeah.
But I just don't feel it. I just don't internally feel it. So I would say the denial is still there when it comes to shit like shit that happened to me, you know, shit that should fucking make you ruminate and think about it a lot. It just
The
doesn't
idea
happen
that
for me.
some people get, you know, those people who go to therapy, like, okay, that's great, but then also they need like trigger warnings in movies, and like they get like flashbacks like every day, like you know, like they are so consciously bothered by something, like
Yeah,
um
yeah.
they ruminate on that like constantly, and stuff that happened when they were young. That was always hard for me to fucking understand. I'm like, bro, I don't understand why you give a fuck. Like, bro, you were beaten when you were like 5 years old. You're 20, bro. Like, why do you give a fuck? Like, what? Don't tell me like you're up at night, like, you know, like, oh my god, trauma. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy. Because the mindset is like, bro, it's in the past. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit, you know? And it's funny because for the most part, bro, I understand you, because I had the same thing, bro. It took me fucking years until I realized the severity of situations and what the fuck I experienced, because I thought it's not that serious. I'm like, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, fucking, come on, man. It's not real trauma. If it was real trauma, I would feel it. Remember when we talked about that? How I don't feel
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
traumatized? I told
Yes.
you, I don't feel traumatized. That was one on one. That's not a cosplay. That's not a LARP. That's one on one. I don't feel fucking traumatized. I wish I did. That's the thing. I wish I did feel traumatized, because then I would know what I felt was real. At least if I was
Yes.
traumatized and I fucking think about my trauma, it fucking bothered me. At least then I'd know what I felt and experienced. It was real. It was shit. It was fucking gruesome. But you never know.
Because now you're left doubting. Now you're left
Now you left.
doubting, like,
Now
fuck, was
you're
it
so
really that serious,
disconnected. You're
man?
so disconnected from the fucking emotion, the feeling of how fucking horrific it was. It doesn't mean anything to you emotionally. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, am I? Am I traumatized? I mean, I know people who are traumatized. I look at them. They are traumatized. They act traumatized. They feel traumatized. I mean, I'm like a fucking pinnacle of fucking mental health. That's denial. That's denial.
Yeah.
That's denial. I'm pinnacle of mental health. I don't have that. I don't have this. You know. So guys, listen. Thank you for the stream, though, guys. Listen, we need to quit. It's been great with you guys. It's been obviously a great stream. Reza, you've been educating everyone. You've been educating the masses. So it was good to have you here
Thank you for having me. Of
in
course,
this
man.
stream.
Thank you for having me.
Always, broski, always. Um, so yeah, guys, listen. Thank you for the stream again. When will we see each other? Probably after the Christmas time or something. So, Merry Christmas to fucking everyone here. Obviously, spend time with your loved ones. Spend time with your families. Spread good vibes. Don't be brain rotted. Be based rotted. That's what you should be. And that's it. You know. Obviously, decorate your Christmas tree. That's important. And let's all have fun. So, bye bye. Merry Christmas, guys. And see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.